From Paul's office?
I did.
Wow.
Can I give that to you?
You may.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'm glad
Derek,
that you're okay.
who's working alone, has just turned on the microphone, which means that it
Is
is
John
time to
Austin coming?
start. We're getting word up to him that if he's here, please
Time to
come
come.
down. Yes. Oh, Tim's here. Tim, how you feeling?
Fine.
Good.
You?
No, I wasn't being polite.
you
You were
living-
sick last time we
Oh,
talked.
no, it was just a cold. My voice was gone.
Are
Yeah.
you living in Eau Claire?
Ooh,
Oh, where do you live?
Blair.
Oh, Blair. Did you guys survive the storm?
Yeah, it went right around Blair. We're blessed.
Blair is blessed.
So
I will
I
call
haven't
the
heard
December meeting of the Personnel Bargaining Committee for Trempealeau County to order. It is 9:02 for those keeping track, and I'll certify the open meeting law requirements have been met by posting and advertising and interneting and however else we do this.
Interneting?
Let's verb the whole day, okay? We'll just verb everything today. We do not have an amended agenda. It appears that there's nothing new in front of us, so there's a 15-item agenda. What's the desire of the committee?
We'll do that.
Second? Oh,
So-
go ahead.
No, well,
Kellen got it.
okay.
I'm giving it to him.
All right. Johnson and Nelson moved and second to approve the 15-item agenda. Anything to note? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approving the agenda. All opposed? It is approved. The minutes,
this is-
to the point and well-written. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes of the November meeting?
I'll make a motion to do
Second.
so.
By Nutter and seconded by Johnson. Any corrections, additions? Nikki, are you responsible for these? Oh, well, thank you, both of you then. All in favor of approving the minutes as printed, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. They are approved. We have a lot of really interesting things going on today. I hope you all are prepared for possibly a lengthy meeting. And we're going to start with property and liability insurance contract, crime policy for discussion, possible action. I did not know we had a crime policy until I read this. So, what do you got?
Yes, and I do have Pam Conan from Aegis Corporation. She'll be joining us here, hopefully very soon.
Oh,
But
should
with-
we wait till she comes on, or do you want to just go ahead?
We will see. I know she just emailed me and said she's logging on.
Okay.
But there was a handout in your packets in regards to two different options that we have as a county to pick from. Last year, this year in 2021, we went with option 1. You can see the areas there that do not provide coverage for the county. Option 2 does provide coverage in some of those additional areas. As far as budget goes, I do have $2,467.68 budgeted for our crime policy for 2022. So if we go with option 1, it will be well within the budget. However, if we go with option 2, we will be a little bit over. We will see here if Pam's going to be joining us. She had some additional information on the extra coverages.
Did anyone else have questions about, so is this have there been claims on this? I mean, do we have issues related to?
There have not been any claims to date. However, due to the cybersecurity and all these different things that are kind of popping up in today's world, it sounded like more and more counties were going with option 2 for those additional coverage areas. It just depends again on how risky we want to be.
It appears that, oh, hi Renee, it appears that both of them have coverage for computer and funds transfer fraud. I mean, employee theft, forgery or alteration, theft of monies and securities inside and outside premises, inside the premises, robbery of or safe burglary of other property, computer and funds transfer fraud, money orders and counterfeit money, fraudulent impersonation. This is all serious stuff. I mean, people go to
Yes.
prison for this. And what sort of liability have we seen in the past, or?
Like I said, to date, we have not had any of these, thankfully,
Okay,
to date.
I assumed as much, but,
Right.
and that may be why it is we chose the less expensive option in the past.
We
And
want
we're-
to table it until Pam comes on.
Yeah,
sure.
let's just sort of put this aside for now, and go to possibly an equally interesting item, the cell phone use policy. We had tabled this to allow you to bring it to the department heads. So what was the result of the conversation?
Sure. So it did go to the last department head meeting, and we briefly talked about it. It's the same policy that was presented to this committee beforehand, and there was really no further discussion from department heads, just that we wanted, a very blanket policy, very basic, to at least cover us in some of these certain instances. And of course, there might be different nuances to this policy that each department may have, but as long as it falls within the policy, we're okay. I know, Tim, you had some concerns with this policy originally, but we kind of talked through some of those, and there was no other concerns from department heads, so they were okay with how this policy is written.
It would be easy
Mr.
to
Chair, could I interject? The department heads basically just wanted the freedom to adjust the policy for their own department's needs and as they understood it, and as long as it didn't overstep what was being in that policy, then they were all fine with it. So I think the policy was written in a way that allowed that to happen in a way they were accepting.
If I can clarify, based on a conversation I had with Renee Lyons this morning, the policy says no personal use of either county or personal cell phones for basically personal entertainment or Facebooking or whatever, while at work, but it's possible to use personal and company cell phones to use Facebook to find things that need to be found
Yep.
within departments.
The biggest thing, as long as it's not interfering with employees' productivity while they're at work.
Yeah, we talked about that before, because I know, economic parks, tourism,
Yep.
they do live Facebook feeds from events that they're at, and, so.
Right.
And I know other departments probably do that too, like if Human Services had a foster care event and they wanted to live stream it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, that would absolutely be acceptable.
Tim, your description is apt and very encouraging, so thank you for interjecting that. I can't remember, I don't think we had a motion to approve this. We haven't, so nothing needs to be brought off the table. I would entertain a motion to approve the revised cell phone use policy.
So moved.
By Nelson, is there a second?
I'll second it.
By Johnson. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor of approving the cell phone use policy, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign. It is approved. This will go into the employee handbook, and there'll probably be a note sent out to department heads or all employees related to this. Back to the agenda, we don't see the Aegis lady yet, so Trempealeau County employment benefit policies related to COVID-19 for discussion. John, thank you. Hello. So you just blew in from Pigeon, huh? I did put my chainsaw in the back of the van on the way in, just in case. So we're back to what we're on number 7, COVID benefit policies. Has anything expired?
Yes, will be. We are set to have the 240 hours available to employees expire on 12/31 of this year. The COVID committee did meet last week, I believe it was, to discuss this, and we do have a recommendation for this committee. We are recommending that we revise the policy just slightly So some examples of COVID-19 related absences that we can use COVID time for, of course, are if employees are experiencing symptoms or if they have been diagnosed with COVID, they could use their 240 hours. If they're caring for an immediate family member, they can also use that 240 hours, or if they're quarantined. And the third bullet point that we have available right now that we are actually recommending moving is leave for employees who cannot report to work due to an unforeseen hardship. Examples of this could include a school closure where no other options exist for childcare, a lockdown where the employee is not able to report to work, etc. So we see a lot of employees possibly using this for school or daycare purposes. So we're recommending to remove that piece, but then extending the use of the COVID hours until June 30th of 2022 with the option to potentially change that date if need be, given the current conditions.
So removing the final one is just due to the fact that schools are not closing, it's not really, it hasn't been an ongoing issue.
Right.
Okay, because, yeah, we're like it's still in a mess right now,
Yes.
so.
So they'd still be able to use it for basic COVID reasons,
Okay.
still able to use it to obtain the COVID-19 vaccination, just not able to use it for school closures or daycare closures.
I'd make a motion to approve those recommendations from the COVID committee to extend the three bullets?
Two.
Two.
To remove bullet number 3.
To remove bullet number 3 and maintain bullet number 1 and 2 until June 30th, 2022.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay. A motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, so the motion is to follow the recommendation of the COVID committee to remove the third bullet in the COVID benefit policy and maintain the other two until
June 30th.
June 30th, thank you. All
I
in-
had to think, 30 days.
Yes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, that will be the policy. There is, as you mentioned, some flexibility in terms of as conditions change.
Sure.
Potentially.
Thank you.
Still nobody from Aegis. Employee vacation carryover limit for discussion possible action. I thought we had dealt with this.
Sure. So this agenda item was requested by Tim Robertson, so I'm actually going to refer to him for discussion.
Oh, okay, so this is a specific department, not overall county?
Nope,
Okay.
this is overall county.
Oh, it is overall county?
Correct.
Okay.
Which one is this?
This is overall county.
Vacation carryover?
Vacation carryover, okay. I'm not sure when the organization decided to lop the amount of carryover vacation, but the number you set, I don't know if it was a consultant or a financial person that said you need to put it at X. Well, it's currently at 120 hours. But people work here that are allowed to build up to earn 200 hours. And in every organization I've talked to and been at, the amount of carryover is usually set at the maximum that somebody can earn. So if you earn if the maximum that somebody can earn for vacation time in an organization is 200 hours, then you set the carryover at 200 hours. So because people when you started the process, had way too many hours, and they're trying to carry them over, and then that 120 just becomes a difficult mark. I've got a person on my staff that just can't meet that. He just loves being at work. So it's hard to discourage him. I'm not suggesting the county go to an option where they pay out for vacation that isn't used, but it would be nice to be able to carry over more. I understand the liability reasons why you don't want people carrying huge amounts of time, because if they leave the organization, then you're on the hook to pay them for that time. But I don't think the difference of 80 hours is going to break the bank for the occasional person that retires mid-year, and it doesn't increase your liability to the degree that it would be that big of a deal. And it would really help out with the employees that have been here longer. I mean, I've only been here for 4.5 years. I only earn 12 days a year. Well, I'm struggling. I'm going to be appearing in closed session asking to carry over time, because I'm trying to build up time. I have a once-in-a-lifetime vacation coming up in June. I want to be able to take time off. So I don't want to only carry 120 hours over into next year.
I don't know, I wasn't here when that happened, but it's a pain because I can't tell you how many people we deal. I would totally support moving it to 200, but I don't know how that
So I don't have a whole lot of history on it, but from what I could find in previous personnel bargaining minutes, it looks like back in November of 2012, we went from 240 hours down to 120.
That was a big cut.
And I couldn't really find a whole lot more history on it than that.
Is 200, I mean, you have department head meeting, is that something that you think all department heads would support?
Oh, I can't speak for other
I know
department
you
heads.
can't speak for everybody, but you.
Because some of them probably would like to have their people here more or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
But the department heads themselves would probably like more time to carry over. So.
Well, and I would like people to take vacation, and I think that's a department head supervisor thing to encourage their folks, you know, you need to take a vacation during the year, but this has been unprecedented couple of years, but I have no problem moving it to 200. I don't know that, because we just get so many people coming in that can't take their vacation
Well, I
because
think-
of whatever reason.
I think that's a valid point, and I think what you're only beginning to see the effects of COVID on the marketplace. If you think the Great Resignation is a one-time deal and we're all done, there are people getting the new remote work situation. City of Eau Claire has lost 3 people that are working for California companies from home.
Right.
And doubling their salary. You're just not going to be able to compete with wage studies to raise people's pay to keep people here. And the one thing that you can offer that comes at a cost of productivity but not money is more vacation time. And so if you have more vacation time offering, if you want to be flexible and try and find ways to keep employees here, that numbers that you're going to be able to carry over has to go up anyway.
Okay.
So I think it'd be a good first step is to expand that so people, they can carry over more if they want to. And then you could revisit this when you're trying to figure out how to retain staff in the future.
Well, I'd make a motion to increase it from 120 to 200. January 1st.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion and a second.
Is that date appropriate?
Yeah, I was going to say.
So we're telling staff by the end of this year, they have to have their balances down to 120.
So that's the issue, so it won't address your situation.
Right.
Effective today?
Is there an issue with doing it effective immediately?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, I'll amend my motion to have it be effective today, June. I wish it was June.
It's December.
December
Felt like doing it yesterday.
16th, is that today?
Yes. That's
Thank
all.
you.
Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, motion, so the friendly change over there. This
This will-
seems just way too easy. I mean,
It is
This
going
is-
to be.
this
Government
this
isn't
is-
always hard, George.
I want it to
Doesn't
be
need to
harder
be.
than this.
No, it should
you know?
be easy because I just was like lamenting having a stream of people who cannot make that carryover this year because of the last 2 years of just not being able to do what you need to, restricted travel, and it might be restricted travel again, who knows? So I just want to make it better for people.
So just the 80 hours is 2 weeks. I mean, we're going from basically 3
This is
weeks
time
to
they've
5
earned,
weeks.
though.
Okay, I know, it's time that they've earned.
The only direct impact to the county would be if somebody carries over 200 hours, then earns another 80 to 200 hours somewhere, and they quit mid-year without taking any time. Then you're going to pay that position out for 2.5 months or whatever before you can fill it. That's the danger of having a
Right,
larger
that is a
carryover.
problem.
But it's a small risk compared to a bunch of people appearing before you and whining and upset because this isn't enough to carry. I can't carry over everything.
Well, and I've seen people lose vacation, and nothing breaks me more than somebody losing 2 weeks vacation. It's like, what? No.
Renee,
would
do you
kill
have any
me.
history on this from when they changed it?
I remember it happening. I don't remember much discussion at all.
Okay.
I think that it probably happened because of, I'm not sure, financial issues.
Sure.
It might have been who was on the county board at that time.
2012.
But I do remember there wasn't a whole lot of discussion about that.
Okay.
But I think that I could attest that there are department heads who forfeit a lot of their vacation every year because of the carryover. But then on the other hand, as a department head, it's hard to take vacation. But I completely understand if Tim wants to go on vacation, he should go on vacation. everybody should.
Everybody needs to take vacation. And that's a supervisory department head thing to just, you know, when you see people struggling, just say, you know, you need to take a couple of days off, or I encourage you to take vacation, or support
Turn your
them.
mic on, Jean.
To support people in practicing self-care.
And I think rationale, if you increase the hours, is you've got this many hours, start taking it. Along with what you're saying, take your vacation, you need it, take it.
Right.
Every single day. That's what I say to them.
And they don't listen to you.
Well, and I think sometimes they think they're saving their vacation for, oh, I might want to do something at the end.
I couldn't run down the hall fast enough.
Okay, I think we're going to have another voice heard from. Why don't you pull up to the table here, Stacy? Introduce yourself and,
I'm Stacy, I do payroll, Chief Deputy County Clerk. Krista stated it went from 240 to 120, and it did not. It tiered down over 3 years, 240, 200, 180,
That's- I
160,
do
Oh, yeah, I
120.
remember
Yeah.
that now.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's impossible to take 3 months off in one span. Number one. Number two, I've had a lot of people, if we change this now, that's great, but I've had a lot of people that use their vacation because they knew they had to be down to this 120. Sorry. I get a cold. And I don't think it's exactly fair.
I'm putting my mask on now. I don't
don't
get my
think-
booster till tomorrow.
It's exactly fair to change it at this minute when so many people fought to get down to that 120. Just
there's no
a, just a
better time.
perspective, I mean, weekly, I'll get 6 to 10 calls asking, how many hours exactly do I have to take to be down to 120? So, to change it this late in the game's kind of a shaft to the people who did.
But it's worse to change it in January, so it's gotta be done, because
Yeah.
this is like something we deal with
Yearly.
constantly.
Yep, and
you deal with
have.
it more constantly than
Yeah.
we do.
Yep, and you have the same, usually asking to carry over because they can't get down or can't get to the lower limit. But with the earnings, when you're earning almost a day per pay period, when you're at the max of 25 years, it's hard to use that much in a year. You're using more than you're earning, like Tim stated. And I get that. I have wanted the vacation carryover to be higher for a long time. This was initially done because of retirement payouts. They didn't want to end up having to pay out 240 hours at the end of the year. That's why it was dropped. I remember Ernie Vold being a big pusher to drop it down.
Well, I think we have to do it sometime, and I'm in the mindset of now is better than later.
And
And if people took vacation, that's great. They needed to take vacation.
Yeah,
They might not like to hear me say that, but
yeah.
we do need to take care of ourselves, and vacation is one way, and to leave your laptop in your office.
What?
I get emails from people who
I'm
are
not.
working on Saturday, and
I'm going on vacation, I'm taking my laptop. Somebody's got to close the payroll year.
You have a lot of dedicated people here at
We
the
do,
county.
we
You
do.
I
We
should
really
be
do.
nice to them.
Well, public servants, by and large, are very dedicated, so it's in their genes. That's why they're in the job, I think.
Here's an example of me to get down to my 120. These last 2 months, doctor's appointments with my husband and myself, I'm taking vacation, not sick, so I can get down. I've came in early this week to get things done, but leave early to use up vacation. So I'm earning comp time, so I can get that time down to 120.
Well, now you don't have to worry about it.
Thanks.
Thank you for being responsible, Stacy.
Wow.
The message should be, and should continue to be, that we respect the work that the employees do.
Oh, God,
And
yes.
appreciate it, and try as hard as we can to reward it, and this would be one way to do that.
Yep, times are tough, and whatever we can do to help employees, I'm all for.
And Stacy, thank you for bringing this other perspective.
Well, I'm
And
gonna
for running down
I'm
the
gonna have
hallway.
people mad. So
Well, send them to us.
okay.
They can email me or call me if they're mad.
We take the heat. We do have, that being said, we do have a motion and a second to immediately raise the carryover from 120 to 200. Are we ready to vote?
They can be mad at Tim because he brought it up.
Yep, they can be mad at me.
And he's going to be in Arizona anyway, so.
I have tried to bring this up multiple times, but I've never been in front of the right committee to do it.
Well, bingo, you hit us.
So all in favor of approving the change in carryover for vacation days, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Now I don't need to be here for closed.
Um,
I might try and give Pam a call. She's having a hard time connecting.
Okay, let's do that. I'm going to take a
Tim, can
a
I
short
use that
break.
Polycom?
And
Will that call out?
we're going to try to get the Aegis person in. Let's hold tight for a couple minutes.
How long is your break for, George?
Where is NeoGov?
Randy Schaefer?
Until I get hired.
Okay, we are, all right.
He's loving you and me right now
Is he? Made him happy?
at the meeting on Tuesday.
That's good.
Oh, we lost John.
That's good.
I thought that
So,
issue was
do we
gone.
have
sad
someone,
it's
no,
back.
you're taking this, Krista, right? Okay, so we're going to move to number 9 on the agenda. This is a recommendation, I think, or a presentation on the part of HR and IT to change out our HRIS system, whatever it is.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
So I know we've been talking about this for, gosh, probably over a year now. So I've been trying to come up with some type of a creative solution to help streamline processes within our office. So we briefly talked about our current HRIS system, which is PeopleTrack. It's no longer being supported. We still have the system available. IT is helping us tremendously, backing up that data on a weekly basis. So NeoGov does have an HRIS component. However, at this time, I'm not recommending that we adopt or implement that route, just because I think it would be much more helpful to adopt a new payroll system tied to that HRIS system. At that point, we're not ready for that at this point. So NeoGov does offer a few different other modules, so to speak, that we can pick from. And I think the most urgent needs right now would be implementing their training videos. It's a training module. It offers there's like 53 pages worth of training videos that would be provided to the county if we implemented this. We have shown this also to our safety risk consultant from Willis Towers Watson. He's also in favor of this, as our current safety training videos are down at this time. They have been down since March.
And
So
they're down because,
they were, Tim, can you speak to as to why they're down? They were on our IT, our SharePoint.
They were on our internal web server running on
microphone, Jimmy.
They were on an internal web server that was retired because it was old technology. It was well past its due date. And the formats of those was an ancient format as well that isn't
Ancient?
viable. Yeah, like something you would have
like
seen in
6, 7 years
2004
old.
on the internet kind of thing. So, yeah, we had to retire that server.
Right. So we've been out, without those safety training videos, we've been searching for different options. These safety training videos are big for our work comp program to try and help keep our safety incidents down for the county. As far as cost goes, for just the training module, it's on the second page there of the handout that was provided. They do offer a discount, of course, if you lump more than one module together. So I don't have a cost just for that training piece, or the Learn is what the official module is called. I do have money in my budget to cover a piece of that. So if you remember from our last meeting, we do have a savings in our excess work comp budget based off of what was approved. So I have approximately $14,000 for next year to cover that if we were to implement. If we were to combine that training module with other options, I know this committee, or HR has been tasked with performance reviews for 2022. So NeoGov also offers a performance review module that we could implement. We, of course, would still have to create the work group and come up with what types of questions we want to ask, what the format would be, but this module would help with sending out reminders to staff, sending out reminders to the department heads, hey, this needs to be done, be sure it gets done. So it would help in that process. And then the third module that would very much help streamline processes in HR would be their recruitment module. So just looking at this year, we've almost filled approximately 50 positions, which is 10 positions more than last year. So it's been quite crazy. We still do paper applications here at the county, so people have to go online and fill them out. They then get sent to HR. Lisa, our HR clerk, prints them off and she enters each application into a spreadsheet, which is very time consuming. And then from there, there's lots of email correspondence going back and forth between HR, the candidates, the department heads. NeoGov would very much streamline this process. Candidates could go online, fill out the application, it gets sent to HR, and we can actually link the hiring manager, so the department head right into there. And then as applications are coming in, the departments can also be reviewing those candidates and providing feedback. So much more efficient as far as our recruiting processes go.
And you would be current with the times.
We would
instead
be
of
current.
Doing an ancient, I love that word. That sounds so ancient. Just your description of how applications come into the department.
Yes, yes.
Well,
Gosh.
unfortunately, what I hear is that personal connection is considered now ancient and not somehow either efficient or appropriate.
Well,
And-
you have a personal connection when you have the interview. It's just that you don't have to download the application, hand fill out the application, mail it
And
in.
department heads don't have to come up to HR to actually speak to a real person
well-
about what's going on. No, I understand. I'm characterizing this negatively, but it.
And then
I-
sometimes you can't download something. Yeah, I'm like totally in favor of this.
Of
On-
course.
On the other hand, and I'm going to go with my perception based on what I gleaned from the reviewing these materials, it seems as if the NeoGov is trying to virtualize the entire process, and they're using the COVID emergency as a way of touting it. In other words, people don't have to touch paper and then hand it to another person. You don't have to sit in a room with another person in order to and risk the possibility of transmitting disease. So I think they're going a little over the top with that because they also suggest that we could regain some of the COVID money or regain some of the money we pay for this by signing off on the COVID relief money. So that's what I got out of their presentation. They were leaning pretty heavily towards bias because we're good in the time of COVID.
Well, they are a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I think this is more just modern, that's a sales angle.
Yeah.
I can see where you're at there.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's an angle, they think we've got money there, and okay. But I think this is more, that part of it would be valuable just to become current with our hiring process. Yeah, there's less paper, but that's what the world is these days.
We need to use
I
less
think
paper.
that's okay. Overall, I think this would be a great, I like the idea for sure. Whether this is right or not, I don't know. That's what we're discussing
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, I've been looking at a lot of different platforms. NeoGov is kind of the Cadillac of all plans, and I think, Tim, you could probably attest to that too. They have many more modules that we could implement down the road, but I think given what we need right now, I think these three would really help suffice that need. As far as cost goes, like I said, they do give us a very nice discount if we lump the three together. That's option one. So it is a pretty good price break for year one, but then of course year two and year three, we'd have to absorb that into the HR budget or work with IT on what that process would be. But as far as covering the cost for year one, I have $14,000 in savings.
And that would
Out of
cover the
work
three
comp.
options that you're looking at.
For year one, yeah.
Right.
So that would be from 22 to 23.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. The 14,000 is in my work comp budget, but part of this would be for work comp related
I like
instances.
it because it's one, I feel like it's one little thing
It's
that
one
we can
package.
build on.
Yep.
And if,
Platform.
Yes.
we have to have employee evaluations moving, I hope by February was my dream date, because it's just
It'll
not
be-
good to not have them.
Might be pushing.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
maybe March.
my hope is to start the work group sometime in January
Okay.
and then at least get the ball rolling. I'd
Right.
rather do it right than have to rush through it because I
Right.
think it is a very critical piece
Right.
that I want to be
Right.
sure everybody's on board with.
And we have been tasked with doing that, and the wage, or the compensation study and its results only make sense. The decision afterwards to do this sort of blended pay for performance and step increases only works if we've got a decent evaluation
Right.
system.
Well, I'd make a motion to pursue this with the three options that you laid out before us.
Okay.
Um,
Which one would you
Is there
recommend?
which option?
Yeah, so it's
Oh.
recruitment
So you
plus
almost have to pick
perform
one.
plus learn, it sounds like.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be option one. A first year, okay, if that's the one you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'd second that.
'Cause they're all
Second by
free.
Nelson. Nikki, second by Nelson.
Yep.
So that would be recruitment, perform, and learn. So the learn is the safety videos, perform is the evaluation module, and recruitment is the
Modernizing our
yeah, recruitment.
application process.
And you said if you wanted to add anything on down the road, that would be available on the initial,
It would be an additional cost to the
yes,
county.
but there wouldn't be any problem adding on?
Nope, you just build
Nothing more
onto
would be
it.
needed, or?
Correct.
Just implement this module, now it pops up on your screen probably.
Yep, just more options. Tim,
So-
do you have any feedback that you'd like to provide?
Well, I have a question for Tim, and maybe this is just a matter of rolling it out at a department head meeting. How will it be implemented? Who will be doing the implementing? How does it get into our procedures?
HR?
Well, this is a hosted solution, so it'll primarily take Krista and her staff's time because they're going to be the ones working with NeoGov to make sure that everything they need is implemented. They're going to have to design the application forms, they're going to have to choose the videos and figure out the library and the structure for that. The only thing IT will be involved in is probably establishing the security with NeoGov to obtain access. So it won't really be difficult for my team to implement. And I don't, from the conversation we had, I don't think Krista foresees any big rollout problems there. The bigger issue is going to be with the evaluation process itself, dealing with all the feedback, you're going to have way too much feedback from department heads as to how to do that. So I'm sure that'll be a
Well, that's
drawn-out
good.
process.
The more feedback, the better decisions we can make,
Yeah,
right?
some of us have different opinions on
okay,
evaluations.
but-
So.
Yeah, and as far as the learning piece, that one I think is going to be the most simple out of all of them. Our safety committee actually has a safety training matrix that we're working on. We're just tweaking a few things here and there, but it'll really just be to give the matrix to the new hire. They go on, log on, watch the videos, we get a report, we put it into their safety training file, and it's done. The recruitment piece probably will be a little bit more difficult, and it'll be kind of just working with our department heads on updating them on what our new processes will be, but I think in the long run, it'll definitely be worthwhile.
Sounds wonderful.
Well, it does. I'm just, I see the ads in the Trempealeau County Times for positions, and some information is going to have to change in terms of how it is people apply for positions.
Not a lot will change. I mean, you still go to the website.
There'll still be a website. Yep.
Yeah, and you, instead of downloading, which lots of times it doesn't always work, and, you know, your printer's out of ink when you gotta have the application in tomorrow, well, then you can just like put it in and zoom, it's gone.
Okay.
There's nothing worse than something you need to do and you have no ink in your printer and you live in Strum.
Well, French Creek, I don't know. Let's throw in French Creek there.
Gotta be.
I have had that happen when you have no ink because someone in your family failed to.
When the last time they were in Eau Claire to pick up ink. Okay, all right.
So I love this.
We have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of, from NeoGov, and to work with NeoGov to implement option one of their, and the cost estimate being $15,839, which we can mostly cover this time around. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. John? Opposed? Hearing none opposed, we will implement option one, and HR and IT will be working with NeoGov, as well as the department heads, to roll this out.
Cool.
Let's
Maybe you
also,
can get a part-time job in HR, LTE.
let's, oh man, I've just lost my thought.
I'm sorry, I'll be quiet.
No, it's, anyway, if it comes back, it'll come back. So, you have a blurb from the Aegis person related to the property and crime policy?
We're calling her right now.
Oh,
Okay, I have Pam on the phone with us.
okay, let's push a microphone down there. There we go.
Okay, go ahead, Pam.
Okay, good morning, everyone. This
Hello.
is Pam from Aegis.
Hi, Pam.
Sorry for the inconvenience, but we are having technical difficulties today. So, okay, did you have any questions on the crime policy specific, or did you just want me to give you some more information on the coverages that you are missing?
Let's go with that.
Yes, that would be great if you could do the second option.
The second option? Okay, the crime policy, first I just want to let you know that that is a policy for the employees of Trempealeau County, not employees that are elected officials. It excludes elected officials. So the elected officials would need coverage under a position schedule bond, which you do not carry with us. I don't know if you carry that with another company.
Yes.
But the crime policy covers the employees that are not elected officials. So the coverages that you're currently missing is forgery and alteration. And what that would cover you for, if you were to take it, would be for direct losses from forgery or alteration of checks, drafts, promissory notes, or similar written promises, orders, or directions to pay a sum of money. And then the loss needs to be drawn upon you or made or drawn by one acting person as your agent. So if you have an employee that forges or alters a check or a draft or a promissory note right now, there would be no coverage under the crime policy for that without this forgery or alteration coverage. Okay. And then the other coverage is called inside the premises robbery or burglary of other property. And what that would give you coverage for is it covers a loss or damage to other property inside the premises resulting from an actual or attempted robbery of a custodian or inside the premises in a safe or vault that results directly from a safe burglary. So it would cover a loss like if somebody were to steal something out of the actual safe at the county. Right now, there is no coverage for that either. So, or they attempted to rob or, to take the property of others. It's not covered without that coverage on the policy.
So just a question, Pam, this
Sure.
would be somebody taking somebody's watch or computer or something like that, okay.
Correct. And then the other coverage that you don't have, the last one, is money orders and counterfeit money. And that will cover losses resulting from you having in good faith accepted in exchange for merchandise, money or services, money orders that are not paid upon presentation or counterfeit paper currency that you acquired during the regular course of business. So if somebody gave you a counterfeit $100 bill or they gave you a money order that was not, counterfeit, that would be covered under this coverage. But again, right now you don't carry that. So if you were to add these coverages, your crime policy would go up from, with the current coverage you have right now, which is the annual premium of $2,328, it would go to $3,126. And I just wanted to let you know that a lot of counties last year and this year have been taking the coverages that they don't carry just in case something were to happen. And hopefully you would never ever have to use these coverages, but we are seeing, along with people, sending notes for people to draft money. Sometimes there are employees that get desperate and they do start taking, money or forging things. We have, seen an increase. So I'm not trying to scare you guys, but it's happening out there. And so a lot of counties, out of the ones we have, I would say probably 95% of them have really beefed up and taken all the coverages just to protect the county in case something happens.
That's your job, Pam, is to scare us.
I know, it's my job. I don't mean to scare you, but I'm just being very honest. We are seeing a lot of this happening, with people being unemployed or people get into situations, but hopefully you would never have to use it. And I'm sure you guys have great employees, so hopefully that will never happen, but you just never know nowadays.
We do, I think you assured us that we've never taken advantage of this policy in the past.
I don't believe so. I don't believe you've had any claims, yes. But I just wanted to stress, too, that this does not cover any of these coverages pertain to elected officials. So elected officials are excluded from this. You would need a position schedule bond for the elected officials if one of these situations were to arise, which we can offer to you if you don't have one with someone else, or if you want a quote, we can give you one too. That's not a problem.
So, Chris, the committee, what's your thinking on this?
Right now, we are paying the 23, right?
Correct.
So it isn't that big an increase.
It's like $900.
800.
Right. I have $2,467 budgeted for 2022.
How much?
$2,467.
So you need to
Add about $800.
Yep.
come to
Next year.
the fund.
Yep.
Yeah, there's
And you can always change this at any time. I mean, it's not like just because you renew it, say you decide not to go with the coverages and you renew it, and then you decide you want to go 6 months down the road. We can add it at any time if you want, as long as there's not been a loss.
I think for the safety of it, I would think we'd want to go with option 2.
Are you making a motion?
I'll make that a motion, to go with option 2.
We have a
I'll second.
motion and a second to go to option 2. Johnson and Nutter. We assume would be able to come up with the $700 at some point.
$798.
His math skills are amazing
Amazing.
at 9:50 in the morning.
Yes. All right, we have a motion and a
so
second.
$2 off, I said 800.
$798.
All right, you guys can compete over that all you want. All in favor of approving the, moving to option 2 on the government crime renewal proposal, say aye.
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 But not you, Pam.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
So funny.
All right, all opposed?
Aye.
Okay, we have one opposed. So 4-1 on that, it does pass, and we'll go to that second option. Thank you, Pam.
Thanks, Pam.
And I hope your,
Not a problem. Have a good day.
and I hope
Have a good day, guys.
your computer problems are resolved.
They probably hadn't been no clerk on
I just
you
don't
either.
know that we need that.
What?
They probably hadn't been no clerk on you either.
Can't be yes all the time.
So we're down to number 10,
Can't say
Human
yes all
Resources
the time.
Department update. We have our monthly report on hires and turnover and so forth. There it is. And we'll have events and budget update, which
I'm actually gonna let Nikki talk on this.
we're chipping away at with the budget, but go ahead, Nikki.
All right, hello. So the turnover report, our annual summary, we've got, do we have these as a handout?
Yes.
All right, so they were handed out, but we do have 46 full-time filled positions, 6 part-time fill-in, and then 9 LTE positions.
And next month, I will be providing an annual report for overall of 2020, once we finish off this year.
All right, and the events that are coming up, MLK Training Day. We do have our speakers booked. Yay! That's quite a chore
Were you
for
able to fit
Krista.
in some time for Nicole? Good, okay.
Yep. And then we'll be working on all the other details here pretty soon, getting those knocked out.
That's going to be a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Virtual?
It's going to be virtual and live, right? Sort of virtual in the morning, and then in the afternoon it's department heads, or is it all going to be all virtual, or?
Right, that's the plan. So in the morning, it'll be virtual as an entire group, so it'll be like everyone on one platform, and one speaker, and, everyone should log in. But then in the afternoon, we have some direction that will be handed out to all of the department heads for activities to do in their departments.
Okay.
Very similar to what we did last year.
So county board people it'll be through WebEx or Zoom or whatever. Okay.
Yep. The topics are improve your health and improve your balance, crucial conversations, and then emotional intelligence.
Is that physical balance or financial balance?
Well, we take a wholesome approach. How about that?
Okay.
All right, and then next on a budget update, we will be coming in next month with overages and property and liability and recruitment like we have been before. Other than that, I think that's the last of our updates.
Wow.
Tim, there will be no charge for using the space this morning. Okay, thank you, Nikki.
That was quick. This would be the shortest meeting on record if we didn't have a wage study.
I think we were all getting ready for that, right?
We knew what we were getting into, and.
No, I'm ready.
Okay, you are ready.
I'm
Okay.
ready.
So, we're down to number 11 on the agenda, and this is the closed session. I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I'll second. Oh, wait, you
No,
gotta
I'm
read it.
entertaining. I'm
You're entertaining it. Okay, I'll read it. I'll make the motion that we go into closed session per Wisconsin statute 1985 or 19.85, parent 1, parent C, to update the committee and consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data regarding county personnel issues.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call. Austin?
Yes.
Brandt, yes?
Nutter, yes?
Johnson, yes.
Nelson, yes.
All right, well, the
I thought you
TV,
were gonna say
it
no.
passes. We are in closed session. We'll take 5 minutes to wait while the TV studio